is Real to Real Podcast. Real stories, real sports. And here's your host, Wube Gabre.
Welcome to another episode of Real to Real. We continue season 2 with another great guest, and I've been wanting to get this guest for a long time. I've been a fan, like I told him, since back in his high school days when he was coaching over at Woodside High School in Newport News. Listen, the value of discipline, hard work, mentoring, highly regarded, highly respected coach is what we have today. He's a native of Bertie County, North Carolina. He went to West Bertie High School, where he was a 2-time champion at the school. He went down the road to Elizabeth City State. He coached with the legend, Boo Williams. He coached at Woodside on the JV level, then at the varsity level, winning back-to-back state championships. He coached at my alma mater, Old Dominion, Virginia Tech. Now he's back at Old Dominion. But check this out. He's coached the likes of Montrez, Harrell, Dorian, Finney Smith, Kent Bazemore, Ben Finney, and Trey Freeman, just to name a few. And listen, man, this is my pleasure, my honor. I really appreciate him spending some time with me today with Mr. John Richardson. Coach, we finally got it together, my man. We finally got it.
Sir. Yes, sir. Great to be here. Heard a lot about your podcast, and I'm just looking to have some fun. That's it. No, let's do it.
That's it. We're going to have some fun with this, Coach. Like I said, Coach, it all started somewhere. For you, it started in Bertie County. We're going to get to a famous Bertie County alum in a minute, but you started it off. Bertie County, a rural small town in North Carolina. What was it like growing up in Bertie County?
You know, when I think about Bertie and my time there, my childhood, it's everything to me. It basically exudes who I am and how I got to this point. My journey definitely could not have been what it is right now without the things that I learned in my hometown. The people there are very prideful, very rural. You know, for lack of a better term, you know, it's not the richest, you know, county in the world. You know, a lot of people, you know, understand how to go to work, you know, pull the bootstraps up, whether you work in a field, in a factory, you know, you have, you know, education is very huge there. If you are a part of the educational system, the Bertie County educational system, that's a come up. Mm-hmm. And so, but you have a lot of people there that, again, you know, come from humble beginnings. And my mother her family, you know, originated there, and she was the only one that stayed out of 9 siblings. So she stayed there and reared me there along with my father, who's from New York. But
okay,
we, you know, it was just one of those. It's a town where I learned my work ethic. I learned how to treat people right, with respect. And then, you know, no matter where you come from, you know, no matter where you go, you always have a way of understanding and appreciating where you come from.
Absolutely. I mean, your hometown instills more than just a name. I mean, you get attributes from your hometown that you take forever, man. And I read how you wanted to make your hometown proud. We're going to talk about your pops in a minute, but what was it about making your hometown proud of you? I know you said that when you left, it was a hard working town, but what was it about you making a name for yourself and making your hometown proud of you?
Well, when you grow up there, you know, the deck is stacked against you, for lack of a better term. You know, mm-hmm. I don't know if you get the same kind of respect as the city. You know, the cities that's in North Carolina, like the Greenvilles, Raleigh, Durham, you know, Greensboro, Charlotte, so the world. Nobody really knows, you know where Bertie County is. You know, but again, you know, when you come out of there, you are a representative of the county, and no matter where you go to school or wherever your job may take you or wherever the case may be, you know, you are proud to say that you're from Bertie County. And so when you come out of there, you got this chip on your shoulder to represent, you know, to go understanding what you learn, that hard work, that dedication. And it's your responsibility to, when you get ready to leave and when you leave, you always remember, you know, where you come from. And so, yeah, every day that I go to work, you know, when I was in school, when I, you know, came into the workforce, came up here, you know, I took a part of Bertie County with me. And so every day you're always making sure that you're trying to make Bertie County proud as a native son.
Speaking of son, speaking of making proud, talk about your dad's influence, coach. He was a coach. You played for him. You wanted to be in his footsteps. Just talk about, most people don't have role models down the hall from them in their house. You know what I mean? You didn't have to look far, to find somebody that you respected and looked up to. So just talk about, your dad's influence and what was it like to just see him at work and knowing that that's what you want to do later on in life.
Well, first of all, I carry his namesake. I mean, he's a junior, I'm the third. So I take great pride in my name. All I saw was a bunch of kids, boys and girls in the school that we went to gravitate to him. And I mean, he was just a pillar in the community who happened to be a football coach. I mean, I'm talking about guys now, that are in their 60s, that when I go home and when he goes to the store, any place in the community, they always refer to him as coach. And so, he taught me the value of hard work. He taught me the value of preparation. He taught me how to watch film. He taught me, the importance of being a good teammate, and, so many things that you teach, your student athletes now. Right. I learned from him. He taught me how to be a champion. I mean, I tell the story, my championship year started when I was essentially in the 5th grade. And right. Don't forget, people are very prideful back in Bertie. There are different townships within the county. And so, right. I represent the Lewiston, Kelford, Roxable community. There's so many other townships in within Bertie County, but you have other townships there that you went and played within the county, and they have bragging rights within the county as young kids before you eventually get to Bertie High School. And so for 4 years running, my father led an unstoppable force from West Bertie Elementary School, and it was kindergarten through 8th grade back in the day. And so you just did not want to let that tradition down of coming from West Bertie. And then, from my 5th grade, 6th grade, and then I finally played in the 7th and 8th grade. It was just a tradition and a standard that my father, just kept going. And again, when you have someone like that you live with them,
right,
tough because there's a standard that you must uphold, and there's a work ethic that's developed and cultivated. And I was very fortunate to be able to see that every day growing up.
And that's just a blessing to be able to see something like that. Not many people get a chance to have that opportunity to have somebody, like you said, in your house to see every day at work and you look up to. Fast forward to West Bertie High School, Coach. You went to West Bertie High School. You had two county championships there. Talk about your experience when you finally got to high school after coach, playing under your dad and playing some ball, but you get to the high school level. What was that like?
Yeah, that's when everybody came together. You had about 6 townships that now, as 7th and 8th graders, you go from being rivals to being classmates and teammates. And that's ultimately what it's all about in our county, is that you everybody now, when they get to the high school, now you become a family. And so we had a 9th grade team. That was the best thing that ever happened. My freshman year, we had a 9th grade team. So we had to get all of that little middle school stuff out of the way.
Right.
Bragging rights now, we're working together for a common cause. And we ended up winning the football championship and the basketball championship as 9th graders. And one thing I would say is that football is king down there.
For sure.
Everybody, you couldn't wait to put that blue helmet on. You couldn't wait to put that blue uniform on. And just line up on a Friday night when there's absolutely nothing to do. And you have, hundreds of thousands of people, hundreds or 1,000, not 100,000. But
yeah.
I clarify that.
Right.
But on a night where there's absolutely nothing to do on Friday night, you're ready to suit up and line up and represent the county. And so, got a chance to as a freshman, as a sophomore, and as a junior, be a part of something special, especially on the football side.
Right.
Basketball and it's sad to say this because a lot of people don't know this, but football was actually my first love, just based off of where I'm from.
Right.
Everybody wanted to just throw the football around, cornfield football with sticker ball and all that kind of stuff back in the day. So I actually learned, the game of football. I had a love for the football, a love for the sport of football, and that translated into basketball. And that's why when you look at you try to play with toughness and compassion and all that stuff. That all was predicated on my love for football. And so my first 3 years in high school, we had championship moxie. My senior year, we had a couple of injuries, and we had a coaching change, and things didn't go as our standard would say. It didn't go like we should have, and we missed out on the playoffs my senior year. And even in basketball, we finished top 3 and had a first round exit, and I'll never forget that. I mean, that was the worst game I've ever played probably in my life. My last high school basketball game. So I will never forget that. I think I went something like 3 for 15 or something like that. But anyway, even with that experience, I thank God for it, because it fused me, or try to fuse me, to tell my story to other kids that have bad games and bad outings, and the sun always sets and is gonna rise again the next day. So but I had a great high school experience, got a lot of lifetime friends. That's the bottom line. I got teachers that I adore, and I still, when I go home, when I see them, I let them know how appreciative I am of what I learned from them.
That's great, Coach. That's a great story. You like you said, you got knocked down, you got back up. You did win a couple championships, and again, a lot of people didn't know that football was your first love. I didn't know that. I didn't know that football was your first love. But like you said, the area is definitely football dominated down there in that Bertie County area. Talk to me about the decision to go to Elizabeth City State. I know it's not that far from your house, but what was the decision to stay close to home? Were there other options in terms of sports? What was the whole thing behind that?
It's funny, and I hope that there are some high school seniors, juniors that are listening to this. Originally I was supposed to go to North Carolina A&T, and and it's one of those things where your family. I had a lot of family go there. I was always kind of in the Greensboro area during the summers visiting family, and so I just had a certain love for A&T growing up. But then, my father went to Elizabeth City State, and I had some aunts and uncles that went to Elizabeth City State, and then people from Bertie High School went to Elizabeth City State. Before I got a chance to kind of walk the campus a little bit, I saw it from a different mode there, and so
right.
I didn't really want to be that close to home, but then again, you really weren't that close to home, know. And so in making that decision, I always wanted to play basketball, even though football was my first love. I always wanted to play basketball, and they have
a good history of football at Elizabeth City State too.
They do, they do, and even during that time, I mean, our football team was tremendous.
Yes.
But Coach Mackey, he gave me an opportunity. I mean, he gave me a scholarship during my senior year, and I knew I always wanted to play basketball, and it's just something that just kind of happened. The CIAA at that time, that's all we do.
That's it, man. Oh my goodness, it was loaded back then. Yes, sir.
Big East and all that on TV.
Yeah, man.
As far as the Black culture growing up, I mean, it was an honor to be on that stage playing in the CIAA basketball tournament. I mean, it was awesome, and so all those things came into play, and so I made the jump to Elizabeth City State, and from there, again, just like in high school, my teammates were really good. Met lifelong friends.
Yep.
That I will always have. The Viking family, the Viking alumni base is just so strong. We have so much love, and it's a tight knit group. Small school, with such a family feel. And I learned a lot of that during my time at Elizabeth City State.
Man, that's amazing. I read a lot of things about you in that terms of you had a good career at Elizabeth City State, and this is interesting. I want everybody to hear this. You moved back home, right? So you started teaching by day and coaching with Boo at night. You know what I mean? So what was that whole dynamic like, Coach? I mean, you finished your college career at Elizabeth City State. You had to find a quote unquote real job at this point.
Oh, yeah.
You start teaching, but you still had that coaching bug. Real quick, did coaching start developing in your mind while you were at Elizabeth City State, or how did it all work out?
It's funny. I was a health and PE major, and back then, most of your coaches, were health and PE majors. So, I knew I wanted to be in some form of athletics. I knew that. Didn't know if I really wanted to coach because, like any other kid, you think you're going to play for the rest of your life. And so, obviously, you look around graduation day, and I never forget it. Either I go back home to Bertie, or I knew I was going to teach in Newport News Public Schools.
Right.
So I wanted to get a head start. I had absolutely no idea what I was going to do.
Right.
Summer of '95, what I wanted to do. And so fortunately, I came up here. We graduated on Saturday, like May 7th. I was at my aunt's house in Hampton for 48 hours later. And
wow.
And here's the thing. Boo Williams lived in my aunt's neighborhood.
Wow.
And so what I did was I essentially went by State Farm and introduced myself to Boo.
Man, that's awesome, man.
Sight unseen. Didn't know who I was, didn't know anything about me, nothing. And basically I had a quick 5 to 10 minute conversation. He was in between clients and Miss Nancy. I just, I'm just a college graduate, and I just wanted to get involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'll tell you something. My basketball experience at Elizabeth City State, I really took that for granted, and I wanted to make sure that I right that wrong that I did. And I didn't really put forth what I should have. I had a lot of fun in college. Say.
Oh yeah, a lot of us. Look, I did too. Yeah, a lot of us did. And
so, and I wanted to give back what I really didn't, give at Elizabeth City State for the most part. And so, I wanted to go into coaching. That's where my drive for coaching came from. And then when Boo gave me the opportunity, I never forget. I was working with Mr. Sweeney. Who was at the assistant principal at Granby High School, who ended up being the principal at Heritage during the 2000s. Just a great man and a great leader. And I got a chance to be able to see him, watch him work, interact with the kids here from the area. And we had a really good team with Bobby Blizzard. His son Tim was on the team. Carlos Hurd was on the team. We had a really good 15 and under team at that time. And then at that time, also, Ronald Curry was a freshman. So I was getting a chance to kind of be around some of that stuff. But again, Boo took a chance, let me be an assistant for one of his 15 and 16 and under teams. And then I just learned, and I was just around, and I was driving the white van that Boo had, driving the 17.
I remember that.
Up and down. Yeah, I did some of that. Slept on the floor in the hotel.
Yep.
Just getting in.
Getting in.
And I was just happy to be a part of something special. Obviously, at that time, Boo was hot as fish grease. So
he was for real. Yeah.
So I mean, you just got in where you fit in, and I owe a whole lot to Boo Williams. I mean, I ran into him actually 2 days ago at the Exxon right off Mercury and in Olmsted, and I always give him a hug because he has no idea how he shaped my life from a 5 to 10 minute conversation back in 1995.
And Coach, I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of these kids, and I'm sure you bring some of those stories up in your recruiting visits, but what you did, Coach, you went there, he didn't know you from Adam. You went there, told your
No.
story 5 minutes, and next thing you know, and now look at you. And that's what I love about your story. You took a chance on you. You bet like with the new thing is you bet on yourself back then. You know what I'm saying? And then you had all it takes is one person to take a chance on you, and Boo did that. And like I said, I know Boo personally. I know what he's done for. And the documentary is coming out sometime the end of this summer. So he's got a great story as well. So you're doing the Boo thing, you're teaching. And then you get a call to go to Woodside. Well, you're the JV coach first. I think you were hired in 2002 as the varsity coach, right? So how did all that happen? You go over to Woodside was a new school, nice and shiny new school in Newport News on the York County line. So how did all that happen going to Woodside?
It's funny you asked me that because I started my teaching career at Greenwood Elementary School, which is right in front of Woodside.
Okay.
So, 95, I could look in the out by the playground of Greenwood Elementary School, and you can see Woodside being built.
Yep.
So, and again, I didn't know what I was doing. I just knew I wanted to be involved, and so me knowing that Woodside would open the following year, I knew Dr. Ashley Kilgore was coming from. She was actually coming from Hampton City Schools to be the first principal at Woodside. She hired Craig Davis, who was the JV coach at Ward. And one day, again, just like I did with Boo, I remember just getting his phone number and basically giving him a call, introducing myself, who I was. Just telling him at the time I was the PE teacher at Greenwood Elementary School. And, and I just wanted to help. And so first year, I really wasn't chosen to be the JV coach. My teammate, Sean Walker, actually was a health and PE teacher at Woodside, and he was named JV coach. But he ended up getting the head coaching job late at Voorhees College in October. And because how Boo had the future leagues with Woodside, and I was coaching those teams at the time, and I was just around. The summer leagues, we just getting started. We had no seniors, we had no experience. I was just vested in what we were trying to do at Woodside, and so again, Coach Davis didn't take him long for him to say, okay, Sean Walker is leaving. He wrote a letter on my behalf to Dr. Kilgore. And they named me JV coach in the middle of the season. So right before the start of our first season at Woodside, I was named JV coach. So again, I was still working at the elementary school, having to go back and forth. Didn't really know my kids at the time, other than just doing the future league stuff. But I had to get rocking and rolling quick. And so, again, I thank Coach Davis, and even to this day, I have a lot of love for Coach Davis because he gave me a shot, an opportunity. And then doing that, my JV years was some of the, I got baptized quick.
Right.
Right. On the block, you're talking about getting beat by 30 by Bethel, getting beat by 40 by Hampton, getting beat by 30 by Mitchfield. You're getting beat, just Phoebus, Kickertan, all the heavyweights.
All of them. Yeah.
All the heavyweights. Yeah. And so I'm sitting around scratching my head like, okay, you know about the PD. You know about the Peninsula District. You see the history and everything that's involved with it. And I'm saying to myself, okay, man, this thing here is a little fire. And so, man, it ain't fun getting your ass kicked, man.
No, it really isn't. No, not at all.
And so what I did, obviously we had to get better. And I had to, by this time now, they transferred me into the building. Okay, so now, we are now trying to scour kids that I know that's kind of better than last year's team. And you got to make those connections. And now you in PE class, and now you're almost having tryouts in PE class. Of who actually
Yup. You're looking at who you can get on the team. Right.
No question. But, I say all that to say, man, this area has been so good to me. I watch magicians at work. I watched Coach Brower. I watched Coach Breon. I watched Coach Katufas, Coach Henderson, Coach Farrier, Coach Blizzard. I mean, I watched John Hunley. I watched JD, Coach Daniel. I watched Mark Godwin. I mean, I watched, it's so many guys that I happen to learn from, getting my ass beat during that time, which actually has helped make me who I am.
Absolutely.
Today.
Absolutely.
And then on top of the chip that I already had coming from Bertie, then getting my tail kicked, it was a dangerous combination. So, I had to learn, man, this area has basically, it made me.
Right.
And especially from a coach. And so I had to make sure that I studied what was going on, and I had to jump on board. And we had a good run as a JV coach. My first year we got our tail kicked, but my second year, third year, we did pretty good. So that kind of got Woodside rolling a little bit, on top of the varsity. I mean, I can't leave them out too. I remember the biggest win probably still. People don't know this, but we beat Hampton. Now we caught them good because they were just coming off of their state championship football title game, and I think we played them maybe 5 or 6 days later, and they came to Woodside and we got them. We beat them. Ronald Curry, that team ended up going to the state championship, I believe, or we even winning it. But we beat them that year. And that gave us so much confidence, being able to go forward and being able to contend with the heavyweights of this district.
I everything you said, I love what you said about coming from Bertie County and then getting your butt beat. You didn't hide from that, Coach. You use that as motivation, and a lot of these, I want everybody listening to understand that it's okay to get beat. You just have to understand how to adjust to it and make a decision on how you're gonna get better and make it and try to do something to change that. And you did change that, Coach. You got to the varsity level, where you won back-to-back state championships, which is really hard to do in high school, on the high school level. Talk to me about once you got to the varsity level. You said you saw some signs of some progress when you beat Hampton, but did you know those guys were going to be special? Welsh, Bell, Calvin Baker. Did you know that they were going to be special when you first saw them and you got to that varsity level?
You know what? I just got chills right now, man. When you mention those things, there's certain kids that come across your life that they, like I told you before we came on, it's certain kids that just have it.
Gotta have
Forgive me if I get a little emotional.
No, man, do it. This is what it's about, man. This is what it's about. This is your story, Coach.
Those kids. I was the head coach at Woodside for 3 years. Won those back-to-back state championships the last 2 years. But I am so appreciative of the first year.
Right.
Because, again, that first year we got our tail kicked. We were 11-14. People don't know that. People don't talk about that. But I do. It's true when they talk about setbacks, man. When you have it's nothing like a setback, because if you're real with yourself, you're going to evaluate it. You're going to evaluate that setback. You're going to incriminate yourself on how you can be better. And then you move forward. And it makes you have an appreciation for when you do have those wins. So
tell them, Coach. Preach to him, Coach. Preach to him.
but when I think about those 2 state championships, and don't get me wrong, because Calvin Baker wasn't part of that first year, but he was getting his brains beat out at Phoebus that year too. And so there was a coaching change at Phoebus, and his mom moved to our zone. And so what happened was it was a perfect storm of kids that had so much that they wanted to prove. It didn't have anything to do with John Richardson.
Right.
And so it was more so of a Stephon Welsh wanted to be better and wanted to win. Lanier Love wanted to be better and wanted to win. Calvin Baker wanted to be better and wanted to win. Willie Bell, Sam Atupin, Jamie Anthony. I mean, all of those dudes that previous year got their butt kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And when you hear that final horn of that first year, and then you go into the offseason, there's a recommitment of wanting to be the best version of yourself every day. All I really did was just make sure that I reminded them, give your best effort every single day, and let's get better every single day. And they bought into that. That was all it was. Yes, we pressed and we ran around and we made some shots, and we did our thing there. But I'm so indebted to those kids because they bought in to what our coaching staff was trying to tell them. And they wanted to get, Calvin Baker would call me at 5:30, 5 o'clock in the morning so that he can get in the gym at 6 o'clock before he goes to school at 7:10.
Wow.
And he did this like daily. You know what I'm saying? So, a Stephon Welsh will go play with Boo, during the summer, then play football, but just want to be with his brothers at night just to hone his basketball skills, and Willie Bell. So it was just a commitment to wanting to be good every single day. And we didn't really talk about winning championships. And that was the one thing about it too. If you get better and if you maximize your potential and be the best version of yourself every single day, then everything else will fall in line. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. Bubba Chuck Allen Iverson is arguably one of my favorite athletes, period. Mm-hmm. Because he always said that he played every single game as if it was his last. That was the mentality that those kids. And so I get emotional because when you don't find those kind of kids that come across, those kind of athletes that come across every day. And I'm not trying to compare them to Jordan or Kobe or anything like that. But that's the attitude that those kids had. They just wanted to get better and grind every day.
Man, you're so right on that. And those kids will run through a brick wall for you. And that's why when me and you were talking through text, I told you, I said, I've been a fan of you since Woodside. Mainly because of the way those kids were playing. They were playing for you, coach. They would run through a brick wall for you. You could tell the enthusiasm they were playing with and what they gained from you in terms of your leadership. And Baker and Welsh, all those guys played with so much enthusiasm. You went back-to-back championships. I saw you at the Siegel Center winning the title. First of all, what was it like winning that championship as a coach? You know what I mean? You won a county championship as a player, but when you won the first one and then you went back-to-back, coach, what was that whole experience like?
I tell you what, the first one, both of them were different. The first one, it was almost like, I'm not going to sit here and say we snuck up on people because people knew our personnel. I think they slept on how good and how fast those kids turned the corner.
Right.
We were actually picked 4th or 5th that year.
Wow.
In the PD, not the region, not the state,
just the district.
but in the PD alone.
Right.
We were actually picked 4th because we had a relatively young team with really one senior, and so it was one of those things where, other teams in the district, were by grade were a little bit more experienced.
Right.
Then you add someone like Calvin, who was still relatively, he wasn't proven. He was unproven.
Right.
So it was one of, and so to me, I'll never forget, we had a bad loss in the Christmas tournament against a team from Maryland, Largo High, and Denby High. And I just remember just reaming them. I mean, and I know some of the things that I did back in the day, if I did it today, I'd probably be under the
For real.
It was a game like that And I didn't take losing very well. Again, that's that Bertie mentality, man.
That's right.
And on top of the Elizabeth City State experience and all that kind of stuff. So, it was almost like, for lack of a better term, I call it applied guidance. It was almost like when I was pledging the fraternity, we're going to do things this way.
Right.
And again, those kids, no matter what I sold to them, they bought in. But then we ended up losing to Bethel at home. I never forget it. And Bethel was a good team. I mean, it was just a night where they played better than us. Coach Breon's always been prepared, always good coach, and they beat us on our own floor. But I think when I look at that year, that first year, when we played Bethel, and Bethel had always been Woodside's Achilles heel for some reason. We could never beat them when I became the head coach. And so when we played Bethel in Hampton at their gym, I mean, everything came together that night. And I think we beat them pretty good. And I think it was almost like when the Bulls beat the Pistons back in the day. And when they finally, beat the big man on the block, then you couldn't tell them anything. So from that point, when they beat the baddest man on the block, which in our mind, it was Bethel High School, it kind of took off, okay? We had a bump in the road. And again, we won the regular season, okay? But nobody talks about when Heritage beat us in the district championship game. And those district tournaments was fire.
Oh, man, yes.
And again, another giant, Coach Katufas, Matt Anderson, I got to throw him in there. They played better. We didn't play bad either. So after the game, I'm laughing because all I could do was give Coach K and Maxie a hug because they played better.
Right.
But what it did was we had been on a roll and it reset us for the state tournament. People don't realize this the first year. We should have lost first round to Ben Finney and Vernon Macklin.
Ooh, you played. I forgot you played them. That was a first round matchup?
First round matchup.
Oh, now, my goodness. Yes.
So you can imagine. So in that district, it was Granby, Lake Taylor, and Maury. And then North.
That's when the whole the VHSL was only everybody came together. That was deep, man. Wow. Wow.
And if you could get out the 7-5,
woo, you're gonna win this title. You're gonna win a title.
So the first round game, and again, I think, and it's not to take anything away from Norfolk, but we had just lost to Heritage on a Friday.
Right.
We come back on Monday to play Norfolk, and I think it was a combination of stage fright, and remnants of that Heritage loss.
Right.
But we squeaked by.
Right.
And then, we move on through the week and we have to play, our coming out party. I thought Bethel was our coming out party, but then we played Lake Taylor at Churchland. So Churchland back then was the mecca.
Yes, it was. It was.
Of 7-5-7 tournament basketball.
Oh, my goodness.
Everybody now is watching you.
Yep.
And I think that's why during that time, that's why the Eastern region decided to move the scope.
Yeah,
because it got to a point where they couldn't hold it.
They couldn't hold it. People waiting outside, man. People couldn't get in.
Listen, man. Okay, so we come in. We playing the second game. So it's basically the Norfolk Invitational. So Granby and Maury are playing first. Okay.
Yep.
In first semifinal, we're playing Lake Taylor. So we walk in the gym, and it's all Norfolk. And people in Norfolk, they call it Norfolk for a reason. You know how they get down. And
you know how they get down, especially on high school sports. Yep.
Absolutely. And so how our kids, we from Newport News, we don't have no reputation. We're not Hampton Bethel, Kickintown Fit. We're not that. We don't have that,
right.
that rep yet. So we walk in the gym, and so you can tell that there's some booing and there's some trash talking among people and fans. The Lake Taylor fans, they ready because it's the Norfolk Invitation.
Yep.
The state championship is going through Norfolk this year.
Yep.
That was, And so I can remember why I always walked to the back so I could watch my kids walk into the gym. And, we sat down for a little bit. We soaked it all in. It's a jam-packed house.
Ooh, Churchill was amazing. Yeah.
But as I'm walking and you watching, and I'm watching the players, and I'm particularly watching Stephon and I'm watching Calvin, those two. I'm watching how they react. And boy, it just ignites. Stephon lived for those moments.
Oh, I know he did. He did.
Oak Hill game, I'll get to that in a minute. But Stephon, that's where he is arguably the best player that I ever coached, because when the lights were the brightest, I mean, he was just this other person.
Yep.
And so we came out in that game, and before Lake Taylor knew it, they were down 20 in the first quarter. And
come on, coach.
The buzz, him like, who in the hell are these? We were still relatively unknown.
Right.
We had won the PD.
Right.
But it was just the lack of respect, because we're Woodside. We weren't Hampton. We weren't Bethel. Just some of the traditional powerhouse
teams. Right.
Area. So people, there was just a buzz. And so we finished, we handled Lake Taylor pretty good. And then we come back the next night for the Eastern Region Championship against Maury. They didn't even win their district that year. It was Lake Taylor. But because of who they were and the powerhouse name that Maury carries in the area, we had stage fright. I never forget, we down 12 at the end of the first quarter before I knew it. And but it wasn't Stephon or it wasn't Calvin this time. It was a little rascal by the name of Lanier Love, my senior point guard, who had an up and down career at Woodside.
Yep.
But that was his coming out party. Galvanized the group, and we just wanted to keep it close going into halftime. And then, you can see Maury kind of looking over their shoulder like, these jokers won't go away.
Yeah.
And then we kind of got them in the end. And so I'm setting this story up because that year it was almost like, okay, once we won that game and then we got out of the region, then we go to the state, where now we got a lot of confidence. But there's still one big bad wolf out there, and it's Potomac. And Potomac was undefeated that year. Okay. They were undefeated. They were nationally ranked. Legendary coach and Coach Hayes, who I have tremendous respect for.
Yep.
His son Eric played at Maryland.
Yep.
In the team. And going into that game again, stage fright, I believe. And it was probably more stage fright for me than it was for the players. Because now you feel like you got all of Newport News, you got that on your shoulder, like from Bertie, you got Newport News ride.
Right.
75 ride. You got all this media stuff going on. And, so the state championship game, it was intimidating. But again, my senior captain, Lanier Love, Stephon struggled, Calvin struggled, Willie struggled, couldn't buy a shot. I probably didn't do a good job coaching the first half. And I kind of did something. I'm going to give a shout out to my dad, because I did something at halftime that I normally wouldn't do. We were down 12, and I kind of let those guys go in the locker room. And you could hear them. I told my coaches, no, wait, because we normally talk and then we'll go in. But you could hear them in the locker room talking among themselves. You can hear Lanier Love, knowing that this was going to be his final high school game. And then, now go from down 12 to up 10 and like that. It was, we turned it on. And so I have such an appreciation for that year. And then now you flip it, you fast forward to the following year, where now we're the Honey, because everybody's back. Even though we lose Lanier,
everybody back.
Yep. And some of those guys, but the core of our team is back.
Now
I was probably more of a manager than I was a basketball.
You just didn't want to mess it up at that point.
But you got egos all over the place now.
Yeah, for sure.
Stephon is top 50 in the country.
Yep.
You know, Calvin is getting recruited.
Yep.
You know, but here's an unknown name, Sam Atupin. So we play that year. We're beating the brakes off everybody. I mean, we're beating everybody pretty good.
Yep.
And Bethel was really good that year too. Other than them, you know, and Hampton, Hampton always does a good job. But you know, that year, you know, we kind of coasted through. And then there was the Oak Hill game.
Oh.
And the best thing that ever happened. Okay, so obviously you got KD and you got
man.
Tyler Olsen, Eric Devendorf, and those guys.
Yep. I remember that game. I was actually at that game, Coach. Yep.
Wow. Listen, it was intimidating. It was fun. I mean, can you imagine eating beside Oak Hill 3 hours before you play them?
Right.
And you got KD there. You sitting there at this restaurant, man, and so it was funny. I never forget, they jumped on us, and then we had a flash of ourselves in the second quarter where Stephon and Calvin went.
They went off, Coach. They went off.
Yeah.
Yes, they went off.
And even though we ended up losing the game, I mean, and I'll be honest with you, I'll say this on your podcast right now. That was the worst coach game that I ever been a part of. I did a horrible job, and I didn't give my guys the best opportunity to win the game, because what I learned then is that you have to make certain adjustments when you're playing against, you know, either equal or superior talent. And
right.
And nickname it. Oak Hill was #1 in the country for a reason.
Absolutely.
You know, considered the best in the world for that reason.
Right.
And I do, you know, I'm thinking I'm still playing against people in the Peninsula District, and just can't do that. That's when you have to coach.
Right.
And you have to put your guys in position. So I learned from that game. So when you fast forward, you know, to the end of the year, we played against a Lansdowne team in Churchland. So basically, Norfolk was supposed to be the team that year because Vernon was a junior.
They beat them.
No, we didn't play them. But,
Lansdowne beat Norcom, right? Lansdowne beat Norcom. Yeah.
Everybody couldn't believe it.
Like, that's the Percy Harvin year?
That was the Percy Harvin year.
Okay.
But what people slept on about Lansdowne and Coach Rob, and first of all, he got him a state championship too. I'm so proud of him. The job that he's done at Lansdowne. But what people don't recognize is that Lansdowne at the time was a football powerhouse, and they were kicking everybody's tail.
Everybody, man, in football.
And so they brought that football mojo to the basketball court those 2 years. And so you couldn't tell Lansdowne, hold on a second, we won a state championship. You trying to be what we are right now. And I think Norcom slept on that. And I mean, Percy Harvin was the best. I didn't say best basketball player.
No.
He's the best athlete on the floor. Even against us. Bad boy. Stanley Pringle.
I remember that name. Pringle. Yep.
In the state that year. Nobody never talks about that. They had a smoker. And so when we played them back and forth, and we have respect for these guys to this day. My man Ryan, I forgot his last name, but Ryan played on that team, played football. I want to say Ryan played collegiately at Livingstone for a minute, but he's back with Coach Rob helping them out at Lansdowne. I never forget after we played them in the Eastern Regional Championship game. We were going to play home. They had to go away, and we know how you say good luck to each other, because there's a chance
you could play again.
And so when we're leaving and Lansdowne leaving, I'm telling Ryan good luck, and the reporter from the Pilot was standing right there. I never forget that we're saying good luck to each other, and Ryan said, "Coach, don't worry about it. We're gonna see y'all again." Don't worry about it. He said, yeah, it's good
Yep,
luck.
it's coming.
I know you guys going to be there. And he's telling me this now. I know you guys are going to be there, but we're going to see y'all too. We're going to do this again. As like the kids say, we're going to run this back.
We're going to run it back. Yeah, yeah.
And here's what's crazy about it too, is that, so Coach, so we played Lansdowne that Saturday. The Northwest Region Championship is Monday, and Coach Robinson and I ride up to Northern Virginia.
Oh wow! To scout, yeah.
To scout the game, and you can tell it's kind of an awkward conversation because we're friends first.
Right.
But there was a kind of an air in the car, like, yo, man, you do understand we're gonna play each other.
Yeah, exactly.
And sure enough, that's exactly what happened. An epic state championship.
It was
game.
A great game.
And could have gone either way. So, those two state championship game teams, those 2 years are very special because one, we basically, we kind of, came in through the back door a little bit, and people turn around and be like, oh, snap. The second was like, okay, you got a big ass bullseye on your back.
Yep.
And or on your chest, man, and everybody around here,
they were coming
for you. But that was just the maturity of those guys, of the guys at Woodside, man. I'm so proud of them. I could talk about.
I know you could. I can see I can see the passion because like I got a buddy that lives in Richmond, and they were all talking about LC Bird, and I told him I had you on the show, and I said, look, I remember back then I said they're not beating Woodside. Oh, Tyrese Rice. I said they're not gonna beat Woodside, man. They're not beating Woodside. I don't know, man. Went up there, y'all took care of business, got a state title. But this is interesting, Coach. You grind, you doing your thing. I'm sure your mind is straight on Woodside. But a man by the name of Blaine Taylor is seeing you grind, seeing you coach these kids, winning back-to-back titles in 3 years. He contacts you, Coach. What was that whole conversation like when Coach Blaine Taylor said, look, I want you to come to Old Dominion and be on my staff?
You ever been in a situation where you're being interviewed and you didn't know it?
That's what it was.
So 2 years prior, probably in 2003, I'm getting my master's degree from ODU.
Okay.
So I'm leaving school early to beat the traffic in the tunnel, going through, to beat the tunnel traffic.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get to campus, I get there right about 3:00 some days. And my class starts at 4:30. And so I killed time by just going to the basketball office because my class is next door in the field house. And so, as you're sitting there, you're talking with, guys like Coach Corrigan and Travis DeCure and Rob Wilkes and those guys, it's a well-owned machine, and Coach Taylor.
Man. Oh.
So Coach Taylor, every so often would just, he's just a jokester, man. He's just a guy.
That's what I heard about him.
God, you can really never take him seriously. But one day he tells me to come into his office and he shuts the door. And so I thought that was kind of strange. Maybe he wanted to talk about Duke Cruz or Vernon Macklin or Stephon Welsh.
Yep.
It was always, during that time, I'm helping with Boo and the elite team. So
right.
And we had a Scotty Reynolds, all those guys. We had a smoke. So
Scotty can play too.
Okay, he wants to really, kind of lock in and talk about some of that stuff.
Right.
Actually turned and talked about me and asked me, some things about what I want to do, and he know I'm getting my master's, and have you ever thought about kind of coaching at the collegiate level and all that kind of stuff. And I did, but I didn't. I've always just kind of envisioned myself, kind of like my dad, but I was going to high school level and never really thought about the collegiate level. And but he was just, basically just explaining to me some things. But the one thing that I love about Coach Taylor is that he kept it 100 with me. Because everybody at that time was out there kissing my tail because we had so much success at Woodside, and everybody was telling me how great my kids are, how great I was, this, that, and the other. Coach Taylor never came at me like that. Basically, Coach Taylor told me that I wasn't SHIT, joking but serious, because I didn't, there were certain things that that I still didn't know and still didn't understand, and if you want to be better than what you are, these are some of the things that you have to do to be able to take it to the next level, especially if you're trying to be the head coach of a college program one day, no matter what level it is. And so I appreciated that because it kind of knocked me off my high horse like that. And so, I took because he was going to bring me in an entry level position. I was going to have to take a pay cut. Nobody really knew that. And, my ego was like, hold on a second, man. I'm seeing dudes on the road, recruiting, on the floor coaching. What you mean I can't be on the floor? Hold on. Why don't you get rid of them jokers you got on the But it was a method to what he was doing. And so, again, I had other opportunities where I could have been on the road and been an assistant coach. But for some reason, I gravitated to Coach Taylor.
Yeah, man.
Because he kept it 100 with me. And so, man, let me tell you, that experience when he called me, and then when I got in there and saw what Division I college, a good Division I basketball program, the infrastructure of it, the day-to-day grind of it, from the administrative assistants to the training staff to the academic support, to the assistant coaches and everything that goes on in a college basketball program. I was like, oh snap! Man, it was the best thing. Being operations was the best thing ever happened to me. I'll tell you that.
I'm an ODU grad, bro. I graduated in '99, and they had some lean years, before that. Rest in peace, Jeff Capel, who took over when I was there. But when Coach Taylor got there, bro, like it was, oh man, a breath of fresh air. I remember going to the first game at the Taylor when they played North Carolina, and just hearing about this guy and listen to his sound bites. He jokes. He from Montana. He joking. He got that little accent. You know what I'm saying? So coming in and just seeing the success you guys had. You go to Virginia Tech. Coach Greenberg sees how much success you had recruiting the area. You're getting all the local players. I mean, when Blaine was there, Coach, you had a lot of local guys. I'm sure you were part of the local recruiting. With Frank the Tank and Ben Finney and all those guys coming in. Just talk to me about some of that. When you recruited some of the local guys, how easy was that? Because you coached around, you coached coached against a lot of those guys too.
Yeah, I tell you what, Coach Taylor had a concept, and this was before I got there, and it worked. He didn't play second fiddle to anybody. And so, and that included the kids that were from the 7-5. And so one of the things that Coach Taylor did not want is, even with me coming on board, and I'm coming not only from Woodside, but I'm also coming from the Boo Williams family. So
that's right. And
it's not that ODU did not do a good job of recruiting those guys, but they looked at ODU as like a little sister.
That's right. It's always been like that. Always been like that. Yep.
And Coach Taylor took exception to that, and basically, he had choice words for them kids, but I'll leave that for another time. He felt like that Old Dominion was Duke. He felt like Old Dominion was Carolina.
That's
the way we traveled, the way we did things was just first class, and he just didn't take a back seat to no darn body. And so it was like, okay, me coming in there and conveying that message. But I also had to convince coach, like, look, it's all about relationships, coach. Let them see who you really are. And I think it was more so once those kids got a chance to really see Coach Taylor in another element, in another light, he actually became popular, man. I mean,
man,
now,
he
when
was.
people come to team camp, and we used to have one of the biggest team, and still do, one of the biggest team camps, especially locally. So now these kids go sit in front of Coach Taylor in his office, and now they're laughing, they're joking. Well, all they seeing is this guy with a mustache with his scar on his. So now they actually say, what? This is actually a cool cat, man. This
I want to play for him. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it was kind of easier once you sell Coach Taylor. I mean, the Ted and Old Dominion. That stuff, man. And a lot of kids, and I tell Coach Jones this too. A lot of kids don't even really know where Old Dominion is. They don't even, you take people from the beach, and even in Portsmouth, Suffolk, and over here on the peninsula, they really don't come through the tunnel.
They don't.
And see that they don't really know, and especially just coming to a game, they don't really walk around campus and see all the amenities.
It's amazing now, man. Especially since I've been there, it's amazing right now going around there. Yeah.
And so during that time, the village, the TED, all of that was just being built, man. And so these kids walking around like, oh my God, I didn't know it
was like this. Right.
Absolutely. And then on top of the coaching staff, on top of Coach Taylor, it was now more of, they were looking at Coach Taylor as that uncle, you know what I mean? That fun uncle. And so, now, it first started with, with me personally, it started with me because I got a chance to see it firsthand.
Right.
And I got a chance to see, how good Jim Corrigan and Rob Wilson, Travis Secure, just them as people first, forget the basketball court.
Right.
As people. And then being able to communicate to a guy like Kent Bazemore, how he essentially came up here, drove from North Carolina with his mother, and basically put on a show
from your hometown.
From your hometown. And so being followed, and then Frank was here. Well, Frank was
Chesapeake
signed that class too.
Chesapeake.
They just got a chance, man, to really see Coach Taylor in a light that they never thought that ever existed. And then the high school coaches. That was another thing. When I'm talking to my colleagues, I still consider myself a Peninsula District high school coach to this day.
That's right.
So when I go back and when I talk to these guys, like, look, man, Coach Taylor is because they really didn't know him. They didn't.
Right. He's a West Coast guy. They're not really familiar. Yeah.
And so when Coach Taylor actually used to come through the tunnel and sit down with Boo and some of those guys, man, and go out to eat, and just a relaxed setting, people mess with Blaine, man.
Yeah, Blaine was the guy, man. Blaine was the guy. He was the guy.
It was just one of the things that it connected, man. And it was a perfect storm, and it connected. So that's kind of how all of that got started.
Yeah, Blaine. Like I said, I'm an ODU guy. I graduated from ODU. Those VC ODU games. Oh my God, the TED. When Isaiah Hunt and all those guys, Lawton and all those guys were there. I mean, the TED was rocking, man. It was rocking. But look, you play, you coach with Blaine, but Coach Greenberg, you know how coaching goes. They start seeing success. They start seeing the guys you're recruiting. They start seeing, Old Dominion making a mark. You go to Virginia Tech, Blacksburg, Virginia. How hard was that to leave what you just said about Blaine going to Virginia Tech out in Blacksburg?
I tell you what, that was one of the most gut-wrenching decisions that I've ever had to make. Because at the time, this was home, man. From me being a high school coach, and then me, going to ODU and having the success, and remember this, we had just won the Colonial, and with Ben and with Frank and Kent and guys coming back the following year, the likelihood of it is that we were going to do it again.
We'll do it again.
So, so I knew all of that. I was wrestling with all of that. But I also knew, and this is selfishly, I also wanted another challenge.
That's right.
You're talking about the elite among the elite, and I'm probably going against my own words right now.
But real quick, Coach, you from North Carolina. You played at Duke, Carolina. You know what I'm saying? NC State. Come on, Coach. You know what I mean? Those places mean a lot to you being from North Carolina, I'm sure.
Man, listen to me, man. First of all, when I went up there to interview, and just to see the ACC logo, and to see Blacksburg, and to see Virginia Tech, it was a special place.
I'm sure it was.
That I felt a connection with the 7-5 because at that time, the football was so hot. That Tyrod was there, and Cam and those guys were there. You know, Greg and those guys were there. And so I had, it was just kind of like this thing, man. I can't explain it, but anyway.
No, I get it. I get it, Coach.
It's the ACC, man, and so I know, and I tell kids all this all the time: be careful what you ask for. But you know, growing up, like you said, in North Carolina, you know, that was every kid's dream.
Yeah, man. Yes, sir.
Every coach's dream. And so I pinch myself even to this day that God gave me that opportunity to work in that kind of setting. And then obviously, you know, in doing that, Coach Greenberg, and it's funny, I just talked to him yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just talked to Coach Greenberg yesterday. He made a little kid from Bertie County dreams come true.
That's it, Coach. That's it.
He made a kid. I could not believe.
That's what it's about, man.
Walking into Cameron, my first time walking into the Ding Dong, my first time walking into, playing NC State at RBC Center.
Yeah.
You know, going to Wake Forest, going to Maryland, going to Georgia Tech, Clemson. I mean, it was just a dream come true, man. It was unreal, the experience my first year that I had, on top of trying to recruit Dorian Finney-Smith. So
we gonna talk about those guys. Yeah. I mean, you recruited so many guys to Tech and Old Dominion, and hey, Cameron Indoor is a bucket list of mine too, man. I know it was nice to walk up in there with the Cam and Crazies going wild and everything, Coach.
Let me tell you something, man, about that. First of all, let me give a shout out to Enter the Sandman.
Oh, yes. At Virginia Tech. Yes, sir.
So when I first, like, James Johnson was, you know, one of the assistants there too.
I think he was at Old Dominion too at one point, wasn't he?
Yep. And when James Johnson said, look, man, this football intro is nothing like you've ever seen before. And here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. We used to, at ODU now, when football first came to ODU before I got to Virginia Tech, you know, you go to the football game, but it ain't no big deal.
Yeah.
It ain't no big deal if you miss the kickoff. You just gonna go.
You come first quarter, you good.
Yeah, you good. I might be home by halftime. but you just gonna go show up. And don't disrespect OU football.
No, absolutely not.
Good. You know, but at Virginia Tech,
you had to be there for that open.
When you have recruits there,
yeah.
The highlight of the recruiting visit is, first of all, you go on the field. Coach Greenberg used to take the recruit on the football field and let them shake hands with Coach Beam. That's all right. That's the first thing.
That's nice.
Okay.
That's nice.
So you know there's a rule that you got to be in your seat before kickoff, but you could do all the little off field.
Yeah.
So Coach Greenberg was genius with this. So he would always position the recruit at the tunnel when the football team run out, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so when they play the intro to Enter the Sandman, and so basically he has the recruit angled where he is seeing 70,000 people.
Wow.
Jumping up and down. I mean, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, right? Like when they do it on ESPN all the time.
Yeah, I've seen it on TV. I've never seen it in person. I've seen it on TV.
That,
Yeah.
So can you imagine a kid looking at that? And then Coach Greenberg said, now imagine you across the parking lot at Castle Coliseum.
At the Castle Coliseum.
That same energy. And and 9 times out of 10, you got him.
Got him.
Because it's that it does something to you. That Enter the Sandman does something to you, man, in that particular setting. I mean, the Hokies got that down.
They got it. They got it.
And so, yeah, it was special, man. That seeing that and making it being part of your recruiting pitch was something special.
I'm sure it was. Oh, by the way, Coach, I'm gonna hit you up, man. ODU Virginia Tech football tickets. You got me right. You got me right.
Hey, look. Since I think you ascended your way to the top of the list. I've got a few people to take care of.
All right, Coach.
What's crazy that nobody cares about the Monarchs, and that bothers me. You know, everybody wants to come.
Hey, look, I'm gonna text you like next week. You got me, Coach.
The last time they came to Norfolk, right?
Right.
Y'all do know what happened the last time the Hokies came.
The Monarchs took care of business. Coach, I was actually at that game. Crazy story before we move on. My wife held me up. I ain't gonna talk about it on camera, but she held me up. I said, look, honey, we gotta get there before we get to the second quarter because the Hokies gonna be blowing them out. I gotta see a close game. Coach, we get there. I look at the scoreboard, it's 21-21. I'm like, what? The Monarchs took care of business. I'm an ODU alum. I'm happy about that. Yeah. But I need September 2nd tickets to the game. Come on, Coach. You got me, right?
Look, I guess I'm on camera, so I'm gonna do everything I can to make this
look, I put him on the spot, everybody. Put him on the spot. All right, Coach, look. You do your thing at Virginia Tech, and then you come back to Old Dominion, back to the 757. Coach Taylor was let go. Coach Jones comes from American University to Old Dominion. That transition to come back, what was the whole mindset to come back to the 757?
Boy, you know that was hard. That was hard because it was hard, but it was easy.
Right.
Number one, there was a part of me, my soul was still back here.
Yep.
I knew that. Coach Taylor called me. I never forget, and he called me first, and then he got let go when I was actually here. And we had a conversation, and you know, obviously there was some heartfelt things that was said on both sides, and then
right.
You know, and then I was starting to have a family, and so kids, and now you need a support system, which I really didn't have in Blacksburg. And then on top of it, you know, Coach Greenberg, you know, there was a little buzz in the air that some things just weren't kind of going right, and so I made the decision to come back, and so that's how that happened. You know, when we get back here, you know, obviously the bottom fell out. You know, that first, you know, go 5-25.
But you did beat Virginia. Give me some. You beat UVA at the Coliseum. I remember that.
You know, it's crazy, and I don't know if we take credit for this, but I think that loss really kind of helped Virginia be who they are, right?
For sure. Yep.
We can't get them back on the schedule though.
They won't come back. I don't understand. Well, I do understand why, but now you know what I mean.
That's a whole other conversation. I love those dudes at UVA. They've done a tremendous job.
Yes, they have.
But, you know what's crazy about that game? If you give me a few minutes about that.
Oh yeah.
That UVA game was crazy because, you know, we had 5 dudes from the 7-5 that
Yes.
And they all balled out against UVA.
Painter, Painter balled. Everybody balled from the 7-5, bro.
Painter balled out. Dante Hill balled out.
Hill
balled out.
Yes.
Balled out.
Yes.
Dick Wright balled out.
All of them balled out.
All of them balled out. It was
it was
unreal.
Yep.
The way that they really got down, man. So, that was one of those. And I think, let's just say we scored 60 points.
Mm-hmm.
50 of them were from kids or 55 of them were from kids from the 7-5. They
knew how much that game. They knew how much that game meant to them. Yeah,
it meant so what? Yeah, it did. And then seeing Jatel on the UVA side.
The Bethel kid. Yeah, the Bethel kid.
yeah. But again, that was a tough year.
Yeah, it was.
Nobody wants to lose
that
many games, and then to have the coaching change for
Yeah.
somebody that when you see stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I'm coming back, and just like anybody else, when there's a coaching change and when you're an assistant coach, you're kind of looking around like, well, you're gonna be unemployed. What's next?
Exactly.
Really don't know. I'm when they made the hire, with Coach Jones, and when he gave me another opportunity, I'm very grateful.
Yeah. He comes from American University.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously he was a star at Virginia. He coached at Virginia. You're there now. What's going on? Like how's the team gonna look this year? You think, Coach? You got a lot of guys coming in and out. The transfer portal's working right now. It's everybody coming and going. So, what's your outlook on the team for next year?
I tell you what, I think we had a tough year last year.
Yes.
And so we've got some things in place now where we're going to rectify that. We're going to be better. I think we have a better team.
Yes.
I think last year, individually, I think we were talented, but I don't know if we connected as a team.
Right.
I think this year's edition will be a better team, better quality team. They're doing, a lot of things together, on and off the floor. They really, really like each other. I think Coach Jones has done a great job of resetting the culture. I think we got away from some things last year that we normally, or it was kind of out of the box and out of character, if you will. Just wasn't Old Dominion basketball. So, and again, when you have a tough year like we did, everybody got to look themselves in the mirror.
You have to.
Coaches, players, everybody. And so I think, this was the last day of summer school. So now these guys are getting ready to go home and kind of recharge and get ready for the fall semester. But I think, this has been a really good summer of just really, really getting to know our players again, holding them accountable, and just really resetting the culture that Coach Jones has since he's been at ODU.
I've been a huge fan of Coach Jones since he was at Virginia. And I don't want you to comment on this, but I'm going to comment it while I got you on my podcast. VCU not scaling Old Dominion because of some reasons that they proclaim is bogus. That's all I'm going to say. Because that series should continue. That's a rivalry that needs to continue. I don't want to hear no mess about conference realignment and all that, but I don't want you to comment on that, Coach. I had to vent because I'm on an ODU chat, and when we saw that, man, we went crazy on how VCU just canceled that thing. But hopefully it'll come back soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'll say this. I mean, because I was of so many great.
Oh games. Man, the rivalry was amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
So you are sad. I'm just like you, man.
Yeah, man. I was so upset about that. Look, Coach. I was getting ready. Because I was getting ready to go to Richmond and start some mess up there. Being a fan, bro. But it's all good.
Yeah. But obviously, the powers to be.
Yeah.
Wanting to go in a different direction, and we'll just leave it like that.
We'll leave it like that. And since I work for Norfolk State, I will be in the building. Yep. Not to put it out there, but Norfolk State will play Old Dominion this year at the TED. Yep. So I'll be out there broadcasting. I definitely give you a holler, man. When I come through. You know what I mean?
A shout out to Norfolk State, to Robert.
Oh man, Coach Jones amazing.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job, man. I have so much respect for what he has done in the that he's been not only as an assistant, but now as a head coach. And he has elevated
Yes,
that program.
he has.
As the top shelf program in the MEAC. And
Yes.
I'm just those guys what they're doing.
Yes. And Norfolk State, they better make sure they pay him, because I'm sure it's going to be coming after this year. I'm sure a lot of other schools are going to want him. Before I move on to the last segment, Coach, I got to mention a few names. I mentioned in the intro, Kent Bazemore. Of course, he's from Bertie County. Dorian Finney-Smith, Ben Finney, Trey Freeman, Montrez Harrell. Those are some of the guys. Of course, I know you recruit a lot of other guys that we're not mentioning, but those are some of the guys that we've highlighted earlier that you recruited. Talk to me about that, Coach. Kent Bazemore, an Old Dominion alum. He's from your hometown. Dorian Finney-Smith just had a great event in Norfolk, giving back to his community with Mark Cuban coming to town. Ben Finney, who actually was one of my all-time favorite ODU players. I just love the way he was grinding on the court. Trey Freeman, he's known for that shot against Murray State. And Montrez Harrell played at Louisville for Rick Pitino's in the NBA. Talk to me, Coach, about recruiting some of those guys.
Okay, now that's loaded. And I could. Those guys, first of all, they're all good players.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Also, absolutely.
They're good basketball players, man. But I think more so than in anything else, they are quality people.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
You know, and I'll go down the road, man, that you name. First of all, and I'm gonna say Kent for last. Okay, so I'll start with Trey Freeman. Like, you can't get any better kid.
Oh, he's a great kid, man.
Family,
great kid.
His family, his dad, God rest his soul. I mean, just supportive. But I don't know if I have ever worked with a kid that works as hard as Trey Freeman.
Great kid, man. Great kid.
I mean this, man. I mean, here's the story. So we played Campbell. He's at Campbell first.
He's at Campbell, right? He transferred from Campbell. Yep.
Yes. So we played Campbell while I'm still at Virginia Tech.
Oh, okay.
So we played Campbell probably maybe second game of the season.
Okay.
And I'm looking at this dude. He is killing.
Oh, he's killing. I remember him at Kellum when he's at Kellum, Coach.
Yeah. But see, it's crazy. Okay. I knew Trey. I saw him, playing with Boo and playing on the B team and all that.
Yeah.
Well documented. But, at that time, I was so locked into Dodo, okay?
Oh, I mean, Finney-Smith, for sure. Right.
I didn't get a chance to really see Trey.
Right.
He was always on our board
when
I was still at ODU. But, and I remember when I got to Virginia Tech, we brought everybody from the 7-5. And I disrespected Trey because he wasn't part of, we had about 10, 15 kids come down, for an elite camp, but he wasn't there. And I apologize to Trey. If he's listening, I'll apologize to him right now.
For sure.
But that game, he probably finished with like 17 and 5 assists. And so I never forget, I called Lonnie Blow. He was
Granby. He was a great time. He's a Granby. The Granby head. He went Granby first, right? Yep.
But he had taken my spot at ODU when I left to go to Virginia Tech. And I called Lonnie. I asked him, Lonnie, do you know how good Trey Freeman really? I'm saying, and I'm not saying it as a slight at ODU.
No, for real. Yeah.
I'm like, no, man. This dude, I probably said something else, is crazy good.
Yeah.
I mean, as soon as the game is over, we beat Campbell probably by, 10, 15. But I couldn't get Trey Freeman out of my mind. So that always stuck with me.
Yep.
Then, when I came back to ODU, now he's a sophomore. And so the coaching change happened. And with the coaching change, there was a coaching change at Campbell.
Yeah.
And so, you make a phone call, and then there's mutual interest. He's wanting to come back home. He had some sickness in the family, so he kind of wanted. So it was kind of a perfect storm.
Yeah.
And so, when Coach Jones gets a job and the family comes into Coach Jones' office, I knew that if they really got out that he was trying to transfer from Campbell
back home,
that they were going to be in a dog fight. And Jason Williford got wind of it.
Oh,
when Trey was sitting there pondering his decision, and he never answered the call.
So it was between Virginia and Old Dominion?
Trey didn't know that at the time, but UVA was calling to inquire.
Wow, that's a great story. It's a great story.
I'm pretty sure if Trey
had answered the phone,
he might not be talking about Trey.
He would have been in Charlottesville for sure. Wow.
And, it was the perfect setup for him.
Yep.
And he made a decision. And one thing about Trey, when he makes a decision, very loyal kid. And when he trusts you, he gonna run through a brick wall for you. So, and then Ben Finney. Let's talk about that.
Oh man, I love watching him play Old Dominion, man. I loved it.
4-year starter, number one.
And remember, and coach, just like you, football player first. I mean, if you saw that man on the football field, you thought he was gonna play Division I football, right?
Yep.
Man, this guy, did he go to Hargrave? I think he went to Hargrave.
Went to Hargrave.
Man, this dude on the football field was amazing.
Yep.
Talk about that whole thing about getting Ben Finney to Old Dominion.
Okay, so Ben Finney was really undervalued.
Yes. I thought the same thing. I don't understand.
I'll be honest with you, and I don't care if Coach Taylor is listening to Coach Taylor. It took you, and so I never forget, man. I wasn't on the road at the time,
right?
But I used to keep all of Boo's stats, just when they play Peach Jam games.
Yeah.
And so what I saw, it was very consistent at a Peach Jam, which is the highest level basketball. Okay.
Yep.
So Ben is always averaging around 7 points, 5-6 rebounds, 3-4 assists, 2-3 steals. And I knew that Coach Taylor valued
that's what he liked. Those kind of guys he liked. Yep.
Especially Ben. And then Ben was put on Derrick Rose. And Ben was probably the only one that was able to contain. I ain't say shut him down, but he was able to contain Derrick Rose for the majority of the game. And so when you look at what Ben does and what Coach Taylor likes, it was especially his mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Ben Finney is a flat out dog. You hear me? A flat out dog.
That's why I loved him, man. When I first saw him at Old Dominion, I said, I love this guy, man. I love this guy.
Man, he ain't, listen, Stefan's probably, and I'm just thinking about levels, man. At the
right.
Most talented kid I've ever coached. Ben Finney is my favorite.
I was going to ask you that later, but I agree with man. Listen,
we can talk about it. So Ben was kind of that underappreciated, undervalued kid.
But see, he had like you came from Bertie County. He had that chip like you did coming from Bertie County. You know what I mean?
There you go. Absolutely. And then you talk about Montrez.
Oh.
Well, story about Trez is that first of all, he's from a place worse than where I'm from.
Really?
Like he basically got one country store and 5 cornfields.
Really? Okay.
A 1A high school. 1A.
Really? I didn't know it was like that. Okay.
Oh man, 400. It was like his high school was just outside of the Rocky Mount. Okay. So, I know about Rocky Mount. Okay. About one thing about recruiting down there, you better know where you going, or you're gonna end up on some dirt road or some landfill or something like that. So it's just such off the beaten path.
Yeah, man.
But there are guys that have come out of remote.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. And so I never forget, man. I used to go down that way, once every 2 weeks or so, and we'll just be in the gym, just me and him, shooting, playing horse.
Right.
Might take us 30 minutes because neither one of us can make a shot. But we just, that was good for us to be able to talk and laugh.
Right.
And so again, when he played with a small AAU team, Coach Terrence Taylor and the Carolina Elite, Coach Langley and those guys, and he was the best player on the team, but it was a remote, kind of like how Boo went. I can't even compare it to Boo's B team because it still had Boo Williams' name on it. But
right.
It was just a remote team. Carolina Elite had some good players up there, but he was the best one. And so I just had Coach Greenberg at the time, because I was messing with him a little bit at ODU when he was young. And then he, Coach Greenberg, watched him, liked him, didn't really love him until he got to Hargrave, and that's when he exploded. By that time, though, he had already committed.
Yep.
Because Ed Husby was at. I'm sorry, he wasn't. Yeah, he was at Hargrave. I'm sorry, and Kevin Keats.
Yep.
Was coach before he went to go to Louisville, and Coach Hamilton ended up one of his assistants took the program over, so he stayed at Hargrave. But I mean, Montrez Harrell was a dog, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
mean, at his size at the time, couldn't shoot outside 5 feet, but boy, could he rebound.
He could rebound and go hard.
He just had a nastiness about him. And I'll be honest with you, man. When he came to Virginia Tech, he committed the night that we beat Duke. They rushed the floor.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Duke, man, national TV, college game day was there. It was good weather. It didn't snow in February. And it was just a perfect storm for Montrez to kind of look around and say, you know what? I want to rock with those guys. So it was, and I'm not going to say it was luck because we did a good job recruiting them, but, obviously, with the coaching change and everything, he didn't come to Blacksburg. He ended up going with Coach Keats and Coach Patino to Louisville.
Yep.
And then, Kent, man,
Kent, that's home. I'm sure that feels, before you go on, that's special to you because it's home. That's home, man. That's home.
That's my first one. That's my my first recruit. Kent is one of those things, man. I went home one time to when Bertie played Hereford County. And at the time, Kent was a sophomore. And I'll never forget, my best friend was working the sport club. God rest his soul, Tyrese Bull Ruffin. And he was working the sport club. And I said, who is that? Because he just gangly, 6'4", but just gangly and just making plays and the biggest game, the gym is packed and everything. And he said, man, that's Glennis, who's his mom. That's Glennis's son. And so I've been gone for a minute,
Right. So
are you serious? So Glennis is a little bit older than Bull and myself. They actually Bull and Glennis are first cousins.
Okay.
So I said, oh my gosh, I hadn't seen Glennis in a while. And so, I hugged Glennis and her husband, and we're talking about Kent. And I said, look, man, this kid here got a chance. At the time, I'm not even recruiting.
Right.
At Old Dominion, but I'm not there as a recruiter because I'm not on the road.
You're just there coming home. You know what I mean?
Yeah, coming home. So, but I'm watching them and I'm saying, okay. And then at the time, I'm learning Coach Taylor and how he likes his wings with good length, athleticism.
Yep.
So I'm just, keeping tabs on him. So later on, maybe a year go by, he's getting, now he's going after his junior year. He has another good year. And so he's just out there, he's thinking like everybody from North Carolina, Carolina State, Duke, Wake, all that kind of stuff.
Yep.
Okay, all right, no problem, man. East Carolina ain't giving him no love. Wilmington not giving him any love. Charlotte not giving him any love. So, he's just thinking ACC. So reality always set in with these kids and recruiting.
That's right. Right.
And so, and again, Coach Taylor has no idea. I'm just throwing his name out there, but he's from little old Bertie County, man. He can't play basketball. All right, man. I don't say nothing.
Right.
So he actually plays on Boo's 16 under team with Frankie Chapman and Chiz and those guys. and actually played pretty well. They call him Bert T. His name wasn't Kent back then, was Bert T.
It's Bert
and
T.
He was just running around, just making plays, and that experience helped him playing in the Nike Peach Jam and all that, and in the 16 under the. So fast forward to going to his senior year. First of all, he didn't make Boo's 17 under team. Okay, didn't make it for whatever reason. Okay, no problem. He's disappointed about that. No problem. So he's kind of down. Nobody's calling his phone, this, that, and the third. So I tell Glenn, I said, look, bring him to our team camp.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so at team camp, there's always a segment when the best players or prospects that we are evaluating, looking at.
Right.
The current players.
Yep.
And so, and that's when Coach Taylor is sitting there kind of watching.
He sees it.
Lo and behold, Kent comes in the gym. We just started. Okay. So I don't say anything. I kind of motion to Coach Taylor. That's the kid from Bert T. And I left it alone. First game, it's a pickup now.
Yeah.
So, the one thing that the ODU players can't have happen is a high school prospect showing up.
No way. You can't do that.
And not have that happen at all. So with that being said, he's picked first. So next thing you know, ball's tipped, and they playing a little bit. Next thing you know, the ball is kicked to Kent. Now the last thing I wanted Kent Bazemore to do is to shoot a darn 3-pointer, because it's either going to go. Only one of two things can happen. We might buy a new backboard around, or we might shoot an air ball, and the ball might be rolling down Hampton Boulevard. But man, look, he ends up switching it like he meant it.
Wow.
Like, oh, snap. So then he come down on a break. True story. They give him the ball, they pitch it ahead, not slashing to the bucket like he normally does, stops behind the 3-point line. Second time, boom! I'm sitting back like, oh! And so you can see, I'm looking at the corner of my eye, looking at Coach Taylor. Coach Taylor kind of raising up a little bit. So then
I like this kid. I like him.
And now, and Kent, again, he's from Bertie County.
Right.
He playing I gave him a little pep talk on the way.
Hey, Chip, I know you did. I know you talked to him a little bit.
So he's guarding Brian Henderson. So
okay.
B. Henny, we're playing pickup, and B. Henny doesn't meet his pass. So Kent, what he do is he likes to play in the pass lane. He steals the ball, goes down, dunk, boom. Coach Taylor now let's just say the game is over. Coach Taylor makes a beeline to Kent Bazemore and introduces himself
to Kent Bazemore. Yep. That's his kind of player. His kind of player.
And again, didn't know a whole lot. Okay,
right.
Not a whole lot, but just makes athletic plays and all that. He can either play for you. He sometimes can play against you because he's gonna turn the ball over. But so his IQ was, wasn't the best at that time, but he was just an athlete. When he got here, obviously, and he redshirted, that was, and his mama called me everything but the child of God, because he was supposed to be Jordan, but
she ain't want. They don't like the red shirt.
Yeah, absolutely. But I said, Glenn, what would you rather take? That red shirt year and that $70 million that Kent just got, or just play it out, So we
for real. Yeah, exactly.
But it's obviously, man, he's lived a storybook dream from Bertie County, man, to play for the Lakers and the Hawks and the Warriors, and some of the I went to his wedding, and some of the people that have so much respect. I mean, to see Steph Curry, there, standing in with Richardson being one of his groomsmen, to see the coach of the Milwaukee Bucks, Coach Bud, there, to see President Broderick and Wood Selig there, it tells you how many lives that Kent touched.
Yep.
Whether it was at ODU or in the league.
Yep.
And then I got to give a shout out to Dodo, man. Dorian Finney-Smith, man.
Yeah, man.
You know, I think that's the one, you know, if you want to label or call me, you know, being able to recruit and having to recruit, you know, at a high level, he was the one.
Yep, you got him. You got him at Virginia Tech, Coach. You got him there.
He was the one. He was the one, man. I learned very quick that I was in a pool with a bunch of sharks.
Yep.
And but again, you know, obviously, I had everything wired. You know, my one of my dearest friends was his head coach who worked with me at Woodside, and Leon Goolsby.
Yep. Good. Really good dude too, man. Down to earth dude.
Yeah, and then his mom, you know, Desiree, who I've known since, you know, I was coaching band, you know, with Stephon and Calvin, and those guys, you know, on the AAU scene. You know, just a family, you know, and I'm just so proud of what that family has done for our community, especially.
Man, you got to be proud of those guys, man. I mean, you recruited Dorian, you coach Ben. You know, you see Steph doing this thing at Woodside. You see Calvin at JMU. I mean, you know, Trey Freeman doing this thing. I mean, that has to be, as a coach, looking back on that, that's got to make you feel good, though.
Look, man, that's what this is all about.
That's what it's all about.
Fundamentally, as a teacher, and I still consider myself to be.
That's right. That's right.
All you want, and for any teacher, for any grade level, is that you have students that come in your class.
Yep.
And they are better than when they came through the door. And you know, I'm speaking just as a proud teacher, coach, papa, whatever you do. And this goes with any teacher.
Yep.
That tell you that the greatest joy that any teacher can have is when one of his or her former students go out and be productive citizens of this and maximize their potential. Something that you had a small piece in. That's all you ever want in a teacher.
That's amazing, Coach. And again, we've talked about people that have made it to the highest level, the high Division I level, the high in the NBA. You coached a lot of kids who didn't make it to that level, but are still productive citizens. Yeah. And that's what it's all about, man. It's not really about making it to that next level. It's about just being good people. And Coach, yes, go ahead, Coach. Go ahead.
Bobby, this is what I would say to you too. You know, I'm probably more proud of, you know, guys like an Aaron Carver, you know, that got his engineering degree. Guys like Martin Shaw, who either he finished law school at Howard.
Wow.
You know, and so those kind of guys that I probably might be asking for a job, you know, down the road.
Yeah, for real. give me your resume for real.
Absolutely. Aaron Baycoat, who's doing his thing.
Oh man, Aaron Baycoat,
BC. You know, those kind of guys, man, that, you know, they go to school, they play basketball.
Yep.
They're productive citizens, non-basketball, you know.
Right.
And that's fundamentally, you know, what going to college and trying to figure some of that stuff out. That's what that's all about, man. So I'm probably, you know, just as proud as a guy like Dodo and Kent that has gone on to the league and done well in their respective craft too.
Man, Coach, man, you thought I was blowing smoke, man, but this is what I'm talking about, man. That's why I wanted to have you on. You've impacted so many people, man, in your career. Again, Aaron Baycoat, I'm gonna tell you how much of an ODU guy I am. Aaron Baycoat scored 31 points against VCU at the TED. I was there. Yeah. I'm tired of VCU. I'm glad we took care of him. But look, Coach, you've done an awesome job of just representing yourself, your community, and the type of person you are. And this is why, man, I've been trying to get you on, man. But this is the last segment of the show. It's called Keeping It Real.
Yep.
You've done a lot of that so far in the interview, but we're gonna have a couple questions that I'm gonna throw at you. You just the first thing that comes in mind, you just throw it back. You ready, Coach?
I'm ready.
All right. You kind of alluded to it earlier, though. The best player you coached, you said it was probably Ben Finney, and I can't remember who else you said, but who were some of the best players you've coached? A couple of you can throw it off the top of your head.
Well, yeah. Man, I know I'm supposed to be quick on this.
Yeah.
In college, I would say, Ben, I hate the you put.
I know it's tough. I know it's tough.
It's so Lord knows it's so many, but I guess I go with how I played the game.
Yep.
How I see the game, and when I look at it through that lens, Ben Finney is just a favorite.
He's my favorite coach. He's my favorite too, man. He's one of my favorites too, coach, for real.
Yeah, and they're all been good, man.
Yes.
A lot of them, man. I mean, and I even go back to my Virginia Tech days too, man. But I mean, pound for pound, who I love dearly, is Ben Finney would take a bullet for anybody.
Man, listen, no, for real. It's so interesting you say that, because when I used to watch him play, I said I could play. This guy, this dude, he was just the way he played. I love the way he played.
Well,
he could play for me. Any.
But Bobby, as much as I love Ben Finney, I could honestly say that obviously Woodside was great to me.
Oh yeah.
But that Stephon and Calvin duo.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That Stephon Welsh Calvin Baker duo was special.
Oh,
that was special. It was flat out special, man. And I can't. I've done this for a minute now.
Yeah,
and
I know you have.
That duo, and seeing them do it the way that they did it, and then the complementary pieces that were around them.
Yes. You've seen a lot.
I
know you got a lot. All right, real quick. Our pickup game, coach. Right? I'm gonna put you on the spot here, coach. This is what we do on Keeping It Real.
Yep.
Pickup game, you need 5. Who you taking to the court if you coaching them? Come on, coach. What you got?
Oh boy.
If you coach them, give me 5 you're going to pickup game with.
Oh man, I swear, if any of these players they're gonna get
they're gonna be mad. No, they're gonna delete your number from their phone.
So I would say, golly, all right, at point guard, I would probably go. At point guard, I would go. If this goes Woodside or
it's whoever you've encountered through your whole career.
All right, let's go. Trey Freeman.
I have no problem with that.
Let's go. Man.
It's tough, man. It's a tough one.
Oh my God. Ben Finney.
You have to, man. To go with him.
Let's go. Oh my God. Let's go. Kent Bazemore.
Yep.
Let's go. My bigs, man. Yeah, that 2011.
Man, you got Frank the Tank.
Gerald Lee.
Oh, I forgot about Gerald Lee from Finland, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then let's see. So I said Trey, Kent, Ben,
Gerald Lee. You got one more, coach.
Gerald Lee. I'm just thinking about. I want to put Dodo in there, but not during that era. As far Dodo just exploded later when he got.
You got Harrell. You got you got so many guys from Tech. I mean, you know.
I got to give Virginia Tech some love. Malcolm Delaney.
Hey, I grew up in Baltimore. That's a Delaney. Delaney grew up in Baltimore. That's my guy. You can put him in there. Yeah. Yo, Delaney was he was a dog too.
Yeah.
He was a dog too. He was a dog too. That's a good 5, coach. You can win some games with that 5 right there.
I think I could.
All right, coach, give me this. Your best recruiting visit in terms of just being just intrigued by that visit that you went, the guy that you tried to get on campus, the best recruiting visit. that you can say on camera, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I would have to say Montrez Harrell coming back to ODU.
Okay.
Montrez Harrell, I knew. Okay, was there a shot that we could get Montrez? Who knows?
You never know.
But what I will say is that when he played pickup with our guys,
so he was on campus at Old Dominion.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh,
Good story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he came in, and I mean, Coach Taylor was just like, wow.
That's his kind of guy too.
Yep. Get this kid. And I knew he was going to Louisville the next day, but
right.
Got a good meal out the deal. We went to Ruth Chris, and
you can't go wrong with that for sure.
Taylor told a couple of stories, and but ultimately, he chose Louisville. But
okay.
Just having an opportunity to be able to get Montrez down and kind of have him around from my personal recruiting experience. I always, I'm even though I'm the ultimate competitor, so I feel like that. I can get Jesus Christ and Jesus Christ.
for sure.
I feel like,
no, for real.
No, but it was one of those things where, if Montrez, obviously everything worked out for him, but he was such a dog, man.
Yes, he was.
And coming back to ODU at that time, I just wanted to help be part of a splash, and he came, and he looked at it, but ultimately, he chose Louisville.
That's great. All right, a couple more for you, Coach. Best place to eat in Bertie County. Give him a plug, Coach. Where you go when you go home to get some good eats, man?
Hey, man, listen. I would have to say the Heritage House.
Okay, Heritage House in the house. Okay.
That's in Windsor off of Highway 17. So whenever you're in town, it's been a minute since I've been there. My spot though, truthfully, is Buns Barbecue. I'm a barbecue dude.
Ooh, North Carolina barbecue ain't no joke, man.
Absolutely. So, it's funny because when I go home, I get I got a classmate that actually works there.
Oh, man.
And so I have another classmate to let her know to pick me up a couple of barbecue sandwiches if I don't get.
If I'm coming home,
So when I'm home, especially when I'm going to watch Bertie play, they hook me up with the Buns Barbecue. So, but if you're ever in town, you got to go to see my man Russ at Buns Barbecue.
Buns Barbecue. I got to check it out next time I'm there. All right, we got Boo. I know you coached under Boo, Seth Greenberg, and Jeff Jones, but we all got to know, man. Give me your best Blaine Taylor story that not a lot of people. I mean, listen, we know he's a character, but give me your best Blaine Taylor story, man.
Oh my God, man. Oh my God, man. Let me tell you something. This is going to. So, we're coming back from. Am I allowed to cuss on this podcast?
You can do whatever you want to do, man.
Okay. I want to make sure. I know I said a couple, but
it's all good. It's all good.
We're coming back from. We finished playing JMU. It was a bad month,
okay.
This was my first year.
Okay.
At ODU, so I had absolutely nothing to do with how bad we played. Okay, so I'm in charge as the operations guy. I'm in charge of the post-game meal.
Right.
So I on an unknown in Harrisonburg, Virginia. I don't even know if the place is there. Called Heavenly Ham.
Okay, Heavenly Ham.
Heavenly Ham. So I go to order, sandwiches and chips and stuff for the boys, for the players and staff, and after the game. So normally Coach Taylor doesn't even eat. All right. So everybody is enjoying. As far as I enjoyed the hell out of mine, I tell you that.
I know you did. I know you did.
So I'm thinking, okay, man, listen, this man here, we lost the game. He going to look at the stat sheet. He going to drink his Diet Coke, and he going to fall asleep. That's what I'm thinking. We're going to go 81, 64, we home. He wake up. We're going to chalk it up as air. So he's looking at the stat sheet, and he is drinking his Diet Coke. And so his sandwich is sitting right there, next to him. So he reaches for his sandwich, and he takes a bite. And he says, God damn, what is this bullshit on a bite? So, but check this out, Bobby. He's still eating the darn sandwich.
He's still eating it.
He said, man, this is John, who you did? I mean, he is cussing me out for 3 hours talking about the sandwich.
Oh my goodness, man.
It's the first time, and listen, I could have called a charge for this. I sat right behind him. I wanted to steal him in his face so bad. And he did it because he was mad and he could. And to this day, he still called it bullshit on the bun.
He still say it, don't he? He
still called it bullshit on the bun. It was a ham, like a club sandwich. And it was a regular club. Everybody else had no problem with it.
But he had something to do with it. Yeah, that's crazy, man.
And I'll tell you this, man, I got another one for you.
All right, cool. Go ahead.
We playing VCU. So he got all these catchphrases and stuff now. The game is probably tied. It's tied probably, it's probably a minute or so left to go in the game. It's game going back and forth, timeout. This joker goes into the huddle. And there's this movie that he just saw. He's always like watching movies and stuff, man. And he looks at the players, and he has his board, and he's getting ready to tell them what to do. And then he turns and looks at them and says, "Ma, ain't this nice? Ain't this just nice? This is nice, man. Well, where would you rather be? This is nice." And didn't draw up a play. He just called something that the kids knew how to run. Right. And lo and behold, and I know VCU had scouted it, and we got a bucket off of it anyway.
See,
but he had a way of just understanding the moment and then calming you down. And then you just go out there and you play basketball.
Yeah, that's Blaine, man. That's Blaine Taylor, bro. Last question for you, Coach, man. Listen, this has been great. I knew it would be, man. And, man, this is amazing. But last question for you, Coach. You're a great coach. You're a great motivator. You're a great X's and O guy. Give me your go-to recruiting the statement or a phrase that you keep in your back pocket that you always refer to when you're recruiting a kid.
Yeah. For me, it's always earning your trust.
That's deep. That's deep.
And maximizing your potential. Who is the one that's going to earn your trust to maximize your full potential as a man first, as a student, and then as an athlete? Because that athleticism can be taken away.
Absolutely.
Knock on wood. You will always have the ability to go to school and learn something. And then the ability to be able to be a mentor, to go from a boy to a man is paramount. And so it's all about connecting, Wabi. The basket, everybody says the same thing in recruiting, okay? We got these beautiful buildings. We got this beautiful floor. We got this beautiful locker room.
Everybody got that. Everybody got that, right?
We do. Everybody say that stuff, man. But at the end of the day, can I connect to your soul? That's what I want to do. Can I touch your soul in a way where I can make sure that I earn your trust for life? This isn't a 4-year commitment, Wabi. This is a 40-year commitment. And so when you're talking with prospects, that's how you have to come across.
That's it.
And you have to be able to have them understand that you are vested in what they are trying to do. everybody don't hear you though. You know what I'm saying?
No,
but for the most part, kids know real. They know real.
Yeah, they do.
And,
they do.
As long
they
as
do.
you are real and keeping it 100, and if you're authentic,
yep.
and you're and don't step outside yourself, you'll be fine. So again, my teaching background,
yeah, right.
Day of Woodside High School and coming through the ranks, and then now, being at Old Dominion and all that, that's prepared me for who I am today. And I just try to be honest. Sometimes I'm brutally honest. Anybody that know me, I try to shed light on some things, but I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, man. If you suck, you suck. I'm not gonna say it like that, but at the end of the day, man, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass, man. I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
because I don't want anybody to do me like that or my sons like that.
Yeah, and you don't have time for that. I mean, like somebody always told me, it's okay to not be good enough. It's okay. It's okay to know that. Yeah. At least somebody telling you that right now before you try to move on and you get the brutal reality later on in life, man. You know, so, man. Right. Listen, hey, I got a couple years eligibility left, man. Y'all got any scholarships available, bro? Because y'all.
Did you see our record last year?
I'm 6'3", man. I can give you a couple buckets, man.
Look, Robbie, listen. We might need all the help we can get. I mean, but yeah, this has been great, man.
This is amazing, Coach. Yeah. Listen, Coach, I've been a fan. Like I told you before, I'm not blowing no smoke up you, man. I've been a fan. I'm a sports guy first, so I know real sports guys. I know real coaches. I know real sports development guys when I see them. And you definitely one of them, man. I really appreciate you spending some time with me, man. I really do, man. I know we had some kinks along the way, but we finally got it in. I really appreciate you, Coach.
Well, listen, man. This is any time. I mean, I don't think you understand. You've done more for me than I could ever have done for you. And I mean, this area, you got the 7'5",
deep
shirt on,
deep.
And
yeah, I do.
I have so much love for this area. This area made me. I'm not from here.
Me either.
But this area has made who I am. It has turned a boy man. Yep. And I've got so many relationships and lifelong friends that are here in the 7'5". So many, like colleagues and mentors, people that I've met along the way that I'll be indebted to, man. And the kids, obviously, even the kids that I've coached against, and run into them in the streets, here in Hampton. I still live on this side. So it's just one of these things, man, where I am so fortunate, so blessed to be a part of something special here. And I will always love it. I will just always love being a part of this fabric.
Man, Coach, I feel the same way. I'm not from here, but this area motivates me so much just from the people that are from here and to hear their stories and to hear your story. It just motivates me more, Coach. Just when I see you on the sideline, man, you get me hyped, man. You really do. And I'm glad we got a chance to connect, man. And, hey, I'm going to reach out to you before September 2nd, Coach, to get those Virginia Tech Old Dominion tickets, bro.
You got my word.
All right, my man. I appreciate you, Coach.
I'm going to do everything humanly possible. Listen.
I know it's tough. I know it's a tough ticket right now.
It's see home opener.
Yeah,
it's the Hokies.
It's Hokies, man. It's Hokies.
You know what it is, man.
You know how the Hokies roll down here too. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Yeah.
No, but I've been hit up, man. I mean,
I know you have. I know you have.
All the way back to the spring, but you have extended because you put me on a platform, Robbie, that I didn't ask for it, man. You asked me, and
yes,
I've
had
so much fun doing this, and that I'm certainly going to do everything I can to get you to. No question.
Man, I appreciate it, Coach. And again, we're going to post this on all the social media platforms that I have available. Again, Coach, keep doing your thing. I'm an Old Dominion guy at heart, man. I always want to see the program do well. And I know with you there, Coach Jones and everybody else, y'all get it back to where we need to be, Coach, man. Once again, man, I appreciate you, man. And I'll talk you down the line, man.
Thank you. All right.
This episode is sponsored by La Vida Agency. Protect, prepare, plan.